Alright guys, how's it going? I've got my Meh t-shirt on. You know what that means, don't you? It means I will be updating Meh United TV today. That's right, the link's in the video description. It probably pops up on the screen at the end as well. So, live stream on here today at 1 o'clock UK time if you'd like to come along for a natter. Now, in this video, we're going to be talking about our old friend Martin Zubimendi. Now, do not tell me you're not interested because his name's in the title of the fucking video, alright? So if you don't know anything about him, why are you watching the video? Just saying. Now, I've got this article here that I'm going to go over with you, alright? And it is in today's AS, which is a pro Real Madrid publication. And the headline is Zubimendi still possible, alright? Now, I'm not going to waste your time. This is nothing to do with Liverpool. Liverpool are mentioned in this article. But this is to do with more so Real Madrid, really. Arsenal get a mention. I think Trent's in this article somewhere. The reason it's a little bit relevant, I think, is, first of all, some people will be interested in as to what is finally going to happen to Zubimendi. Arsenal fans obviously think he's going there. The Mail ran a very strong exclusive a long time ago saying the deal was all set in stone now. And let me think. Obviously, Real Madrid want a midfielder. We've mentioned that in a previous upload today. And maybe Zubimendi going there might prevent them going for some, other players or whatever. Anyway, a few weeks ago, I mentioned on here that Real Sociedad had published their promotional material for a pre-season tournament in Japan, or some pre-season games out in Japan. And Zubimendi was missing from all the promotional materials, like the posters, the pamphlets, all that shit, right? He's their number 4, he's their big star. So they're obviously going to include him in promotional materials if he's going to be there. So the fact he was omitted is the biggest signal yet that he will definitely be on the move this summer. And also he did an interview in the last couple of weeks for Real Sociedad TV, like one of those up-close interviews, with a player and all that. And he spoke very much about, I've done this and everything here, blah, blah, blah. And the media and the fans saw that as his goodbye message. So Zubimendi will be on the move in the summer. Now, finally, it says Zubimendi still possible. Madrid have options while the transfer to Arsenal isn't official. Xabi likes him. Now, Alonso is obviously going there. Again, if you follow my morning briefings, not my morning briefings, my morning updates or whatever, I review the Spanish dailies, football dailies every day of the week. And I remember saying, a few weeks back now that Alonso wanted Trent, he wanted Zubimendi. And obviously, Arsenal fans are, hey, it's coming to us, what do you fucking know? Do you know what I mean? Like, I think that the Madrid-based media would not have mentioned that Alonso wants Zubimendi, that it could be a possibility if it was set in stone with Arsenal. They're not going to do that. They would know. Well, it depends which journalist you're paying attention to. I personally pay more attention to Marca than AS, but I don't know. My opinion is that the Madrid-based media wouldn't be publishing articles like that, Zubimendi still possible, if it was set in stone with Arsenal, all right? So if you're an Arsenal fan, I'd be slightly concerned. Okay, the article opens, 60 million euros, that's the price of his release clause. Liverpool fans, we all know this from last year. Real Madrid are still considering this option with their Basque coach, though there are others on the table. Where there's life, there's hope. And as long as Zubimendi's transfer to Arsenal hasn't been made official, Madrid still have a shot at turning things round. Zubimendi is not yet lost to Xabi Alonso. It's true that Madrid face an uphill battle since Arsenal have been working for months to bring him to the Emirates. But nothing has been signed. That can be muted. But nothing has been signed. And given that Zubimendi is one of Xabi's favourite players, someone over whom the coach has significant influence, his move to Madrid is still on the cards. That's the feeling inside the offices at Valdebebas, and that is Real Madrid's headquarters. In recent months, Zubimendi has been linked with several clubs. Barcelona, I haven't seen that. I haven't seen that in any of the Barcelona publications either. So I don't know what that is. So Liverpool, I haven't seen him mentioned with Liverpool in the last several months. Recent months. But maybe they're just, I don't know. Arsenal, yes. And of course, Real Madrid, yes. As of today, according to the information received by this newspaper, the transfer to Arsenal isn't complete. There is no written agreement, meaning there's still time for Xabi Alonso to intervene if he and Madrid ultimately decide that Zubimendi is the ideal midfield addition. Xabi certainly likes him, and that's exactly what's been assessed now. But it's not the only option on the table. But it's obvious that time is running out. It goes on about the fixed price being affordable, 60 million euros. Last summer, everything was in place for him to join Liverpool. Real Sociedad had accepted the move and gave the green light to the operation. I'm not quite sure. Well, they didn't really have any choice whether to accept it or not, but there was a very bad feeling. Anfield were ready to pay the clause too. But when Mikel Merino and Le Normand left La Real, the club spoke with Zubimendi and convinced him to stay one more season to enjoy European competition. He did say he didn't want to leave unless he had their blessing. Despite the dramatic change of direction, his contract remained untouched. And his clause is still 60 million euros. Many people thought, oh, he's trying to screw, some Liverpool fans like, hey, he's trying to screw us over, get more money and all that. Nah, he'd have got a lot more money at Liverpool. I think they offered him 3 times his salary. Then it mentions a U-turn in bold, and he said that sudden change could happen again now. According to sources familiar with the situation who spoke to AS, the Zubimendi deal is still bubbling in the background. Everything is ready with Arsenal, but the final signature and loose ends are still pending. And with both La Liga and the Premier League now over, those should be sorted soon. That's talking about, confirmation of champions. It's Liverpool, by the way, if you don't know. That's the window Madrid have to jump into the deal. And when Madrid step in, few players can resist them. Especially when the chance to play under Xabi Alonso at Real Madrid might be too good to pass up. And I think Zubimendi will go to Real Madrid if they want him. I do want to say, I'm sorry, if you're an Arsenal fan, I know you're going to caps lock me to death. Last time I mentioned Zubimendi, you fuckers went mental. I don't know why. But, anyway. They're close, them two, Alonso and Zubimendi. And Zubimendi looks up to him big time. And there's no way you reject Real Madrid if you're a Spanish player. Even, despite the loyalties with Real Sociedad and that, leaving a club like Real Sociedad to go to Real Madrid would be seen as acceptable and understandable. A final resolution to this new Zubimendi saga, which follows last summer's drama involving Liverpool, is expected in the coming hours. In any case, Madrid's roadmap includes 3 operations that must be announced before any midfield signing. Alexander Arnold, arriving on a free. Dean Huijsen, whose €59 million release clause will be paid to Bournemouth. And very likely, a left-back. There you have it. How's about that then, right? So Zubimendi is a possibility, is the headline. And he's not had a very good season. I've got to be honest with you. But he has been, I think he's one of them. At one point, he was their most, he had the most minutes, as an outfield player. I think he's had some injury, little niggles, and been required to play when not 100%. In fact, I remember my last video, well, not my last video, but a video where I touched on Arsenal. And I remember saying, he's injured. He was injured the other night, and some Arsenal fans said, how can he be injured? He played last night, you prick, or something. Fuck it. They're so different. I see you guys talking about fans all the time, and you guys say Arsenal fans, they're another fucking. But I've never had any experience of it. I don't do social media and get involved in football shite. It's not my thing at all, right? But that video that I did about Zubimendi and Arsenal, I guess it was last year or maybe earlier this year. I don't know when it was. They were horrendous. You would think that the most shit I would get would be off United fans, wouldn't it? Or Everton fans or something like that. But the Arsenal fans were absolutely vile. And all I was doing was telling them what was being reported in Spain. I think they like took it as like, it's because you want him at Liverpool. Hey, I like him. I'd love to see him signed. I'll be honest with you. I would. No doubt about it. But despite that male exclusive, and despite the media continually telling everyone, he's going to Arsenal, he's going to Arsenal, he's going to Arsenal, until something is signed, sealed, delivered, anything can happen. And with Alonso going to Real Madrid, if Alonso says I want him, they will get him for him, right? And I don't see a 1% chance that Zubimendi would reject Alonso and Real Madrid. I just don't believe it. So if they do go in for him, there's ifs, I don't know. I'm going to tell you what's being said in Madrid, right? If they go in for him, He will be going to Arsenal, in my opinion. It's an interesting one. I'm interested to see what happens with him because of all the stuff with Liverpool last year. I've paid close attention to him. And I'm looking forward to it being resolved. So, yeah, that's it. So the clue's in the title of the video, so don't tell me you're sick of hearing about him if you watch this video. All right, I'm off. What do you guys think? Where do you think he'll end up? Do you think he'll end up at Arsenal? Or do you think he will U-turn again, what a wanker, and go to Real Madrid? I have a lot of respect for him, to be honest with you. I'm not butthurt about him rejecting Liverpool. He stayed loyal to his club, and unless you understand that region of Spain and playing for one of those clubs in that region and being from that region, you will never understand. You will never understand. You know, those kind of players don't just walk out and shit on their clubs, right? Do you know what I mean? So I'm sure as many Liverpool fans were wishing that Trent Alexander-Arnold displayed some loyalty, if you're one of those that think he should. Do you know what I mean? Zubimendi, I take my hat off to him for staying loyal. And, he said, I'm not going to leave this club in trouble. They've just lost these players. There was a bit of I won't say relegation scrap, but they started off pretty low in the table, didn't they, this season, from memory? You know what my memory's like. I think he's a top man, I really do. But he hasn't had a great season for Real Sociedad. I did go to the Spain-Netherlands game recently, and I don't remember seeing him on the pitch, to be honest with you. So I think he does need a move, and I think he needs to get his career on track because he's a fucking great player. He really is a great player. My hunch is he goes to Real Madrid, but again, of course, it's subject to whether they actually move for him. But I thought that was an interesting write-up. All right, guys, I'll leave it with you. If you did enjoy the video, please thumbs up the video. I'm sure the Arsenal fans will be battering it down. I'm just telling you what's being said here. I couldn't care less, to be honest with you. Please leave me a comment on where you think he'll go. And if you want to buy me a beer or a coffee, hit the super thanks button. It's the love art under the video, and I will give you a shout out in tomorrow morning's morning briefing on my other YouTube channel. I'm going over there right now to record today's morning briefing. The link will pop up on the screen. You'll see my chubby cheeks in a minute on the screen again. And the link is in the video description. If you click on description, you'll see the links to my other YouTube channels. All right, guys, have a cracking day. Let me know your thoughts.